Hello Cules, hold on tight because what you're about to hear is a bombshell. Nico Williams, the gem of Athletic Club, the talent we all dreamed of seeing in blue and garnet, has broken his silence. Yes, you heard right, he has spoken, and what he said is a true earthquake that shakes the foundations of Spanish football. Nico Williams confessed his pain, his frustration, his broken heart after the failure of his transfer to FC Barcelona, and he points the finger at one name, Javier Tebas. The president of La Liga, the man who seems to have a personal crusade against our Barça, is at the center of the storm. What really happened? Why did Nico, who was one step away from becoming a Cule, ultimately sign a 10-year contract with Athletic? If you are a Cule at heart, if you bleed blue and garnet, and if you are as outraged as we are by this new attack on Barça, subscribe now to Barça Without Bar. Click the button, join the Cule resistance, and don't miss any detail of this fight. Do you think Tebas has something personal against Barça? Today, we reveal the truth, the conspiracy, the boycott that left Barça supporters with broken hearts. This is an exclusive you cannot miss, Cule. Get ready, because we are going to dissect this scandal with the passion of a packed Camp Nou. Visca Barça. Let's set the scene, Cules. Nico Williams, the electric winger, the hero of Euro 2024, the player who made all Barcelonans dream of a gala attack alongside LAMINE Yamal and Robert Lewandowski. This summer, Nico's name was on everyone's lips. The headlines, social media, rumors on every street corner. Nico to Barça. And it wasn't an impossible dream. No. Barça was ready to pay the 60 million euros of his release clause. 60 million. A sum which, although not negligible, was viable for a club which, under the leadership of Joan Laporta, has worked day and night to clean up its finances. The deal was almost sealed, Cules. Nico wanted to come. Deco had spoken to his agent, and even LAMINE Yamal and Alejandro Bald were putting pressure on their friend to put on the blue and garnet jersey. Imagine the trident, the magic, the spectacle we would have seen at Camp Nou. But suddenly, everything collapsed. What happened? Why did Nico, who was so close, ultimately sign a contract until 2035 with Athletic Club? This is where the scandal begins, and the name Javier Tebas appears as the great villain of this story. Nico Williams is not an ordinary player. He is a generational talent, a 22-year-old who has proven in La Liga and with the Spanish national team that he is ready to take the step to a big club. His speed, dribbling, and vision of the game made him the perfect complement to Hansi Flick's project. Barça had everything ready, a 6-year contract until 2031, an ambitious sporting project, and the support of a fan base that already saw him as the new hero. But something, or rather someone, got in the way, and that someone is none other than Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, who seems to have an unhealthy obsession with hindering FC Barcelona at every step. This is where things get murky, Cules. Javier Tebas, the bigwig of La Liga, decided to fully involve himself in Nico Williams' transfer. And no, we are not talking about baseless rumors. The accusations are serious, and Nico's words and those of his entourage confirm it. According to sources close to the player, Tebas exerted brutal pressure on Nico's people and Athletic Club to torpedo the transfer to Barça. How did he do it? First, with public statements that sowed doubt. In early July, when the transfer was at its hottest, Tebas came out in public saying, "Barça cannot register Nico Williams today." Excuse me, how can they not register him? Barça was working on its finances, had freed up salary mass with the departures of Clement Lenglet and Ansu Fati, and was on the verge of returning to the 1:1 rule of financial fair play. But Tebas, with his usual tone of a ruthless prosecutor, decided to shatter the hopes of the Cules. Not content with his statements, Tebas went further. According to Nico's entourage, the president of La Liga held meetings with Athletic Club where he allegedly shared confidential information about Barça's finances. Confidential, Cules. We are talking about a clear abuse of power. Tebas was not content to doubt Barça's ability to recruit. He actively influenced Nico's entourage, scaring them, making them believe that if he signed with Barça, the player could end up unregistered and his career would be in danger. Imagine the pressure on a 22-year-old who only wanted to fulfill his dream of playing at Camp Nou. This is not just an administrative obstacle. It is a blatant boycott, a dirty maneuver to keep Barça in the shadows while other clubs strengthen without any problem. But Tebas did not act alone, Cules. Athletic Club also played its part in this drama. The directors of the Basque Club, with President John Uriarte at the helm, did everything to keep Nico. And I don't blame them. Who would want to lose a star like him? But the forms, the forms. Athletic did not just refuse to negotiate. They launched a campaign of brutal pressure. They put Nico at the center of their new marketing campaign, made him the protagonist of the launch of their new jersey, and even painted a mural with him and his brother Inaki, as if they wanted to scream to the world, "Nico is ours and he will not leave." But the worst was when Athletic supporters, incited by this narrative, went so far as to vandalize this same mural when the rumors of the transfer to Barça intensified. What kind of pressure is that? Nico, a young man, was caught between his loyalty to the club that trained him and his desire to join a giant like Barça. And then came the final blow. Athletic, with the support of Tebas, offered Nico a 10-year contract until 2035 with a release clause increased from 60 to 90 million euros. 90 million. A clear way to shield him and keep him away from Barça. But what hurts the most, is that Nico admitted that this decision was not entirely his own. According to his words leaked by his entourage, Nico said he felt pressured and scared by Tebas' warnings and the intensity of Athletic. "I wanted to play for Barça, it was my dream," Nico reportedly said, according to people close to him. But the fear of not being registered, of finding himself trapped in a bureaucratic limbo, pushed him to give in. This is not just a failed transfer, it is a broken dream, a talent that was snatched away from us. Now, let's get to the emotional heart of this story. Because this is not just a failed transfer, it is a human drama that touches us deeply. Nico Williams, the star of Athletic Club, the young man we all saw as the next idol of Camp Nou, is broken. Yes, broken. According to leaks from his entourage, Nico is not celebrating his new contract with Athletic as if it were a triumph. He is not toasting in Bilbao nor boasting about his extension until 2035. A year ago, Nico was a promising talent at Athletic, but it was during Euro 2024 that he truly shone. His performances with Spain, where he was key to their title win, put him on the radar of European giants. But for Nico, there was only one destination: Barça. According to those close to him, the player grew up admiring Lionel Messi, dreaming of stepping onto the Camp Nou pitch, imagining himself in the blue and garnet jersey. When Barça's interest became real this summer, Nico couldn't believe it. He talked with LAMINE, his inseparable friend, about what it would be like to share the wing in the team of their dreams. He imagined celebrating goals with Alejandro Bald, learning from Robert Lewandowski, being coached by Hansi Flick. Everything was aligned: the sporting project, the city, the fans, the history. But then, reality hit him like a train. The pressure began to mount. First, there were the statements from Javier Tebas, sowing doubt about Barça's ability to register him. Then, warnings from his agent, influenced by meetings with La Liga, telling him that signing for Barça was a risk, that he could end up unable to play if he wasn't registered. Then, Athletic Club with its emotional campaign to keep him, making him feel that leaving would be betraying his family, his city, his identity. And finally, the media amplifying every rumor, every doubt, every fear. Nico was caught in a perfect storm, and no one, not even his friends at Barça, could pull him out. According to a close source, Nico spent sleepless nights, torn between his cool heart and the fear of an uncertain future. He didn't know what to do, he would have admitted. "Everyone told me that Barça was a mistake, but I just wanted to go there." This confession, is a stab to the heart because it shows not only Nico's pain but also the helplessness of a Barça that would have welcomed him with open arms. If you thought Javier Tebas' intervention in the Nico Williams affair was an isolated incident, you are sorely mistaken. This is not just a maneuver against our Barça, it is part of a pattern, a strategy that has been developing for years under the shadow of the president of La Liga. Tebas, with his absolute power, has turned Spanish football into his personal fiefdom, and FC Barcelona seems to be his #1 enemy. We are not talking about mere rumors or conspiracy theories. No. We are talking about facts, a history that shows how Tebas has used his position to limit Barça, while other clubs, especially one from the capital, seem to have a free pass to do as they please. Let's take a step back because this goes back a long way. Since Tebas took over the presidency of La Liga in 2013, Barça has faced bureaucratic obstacles that seem specifically designed to hinder our growth. Remember the Neymar case in 2013? The Brazilian's transfer was a masterstroke by the CUEL management, but Tebas and his allies in the offices took advantage to put the club in an endless legal imbroglio. investigations, fines, accusations of irregularities. All this while other clubs finalized multi-million transfers without anyone looking too closely. Then there was the Messi case in 2021. The best player in history, the symbol of Barça, was forced to leave the club of his life because, according to Tebas, Barça could not register him due to financial fair play rules. And what did Tebas do to help the club that is the engine of Spanish football? Nothing, absolutely nothing. He just crossed his arms and said, "Respect the rules." But curiously, when other teams needed flexibility to register players, solutions appeared as if by magic. Now, with Nico Williams, we see the same scenario. Tebas not only publicly questioned Barça's ability to recruit, but, according to the player's entourage, he went further. We are talking about behind closed doors meetings, pressure on agents, veiled warnings that painted a catastrophic scenario if Nico dared to make the leap to Camp Nou. This is not a league president acting with neutrality, Kules. This is a man using his power to influence the market, to decide who can recruit and who cannot. And Barça, with its history, its fans, its legacy, is the main target of this crusade. Why? Because Barça does not kneel down. Because Barça represents something more than football. Because Barça is a symbol of resistance that bothers those who want football controlled from the offices. The most serious thing is that Tebas does not act alone. He has allies in the media, in the clubs, even in the institutions. Every time Barça attempts a significant move, articles, debates, and headlines appear, questioning our finances, our management, our project. It is an orchestrated campaign to weaken us, to make us doubt ourselves. But Kules, we will not fall into this trap. We are FC Barcelona, the club that has won 5 Champions Leagues, the club that revolutionized football with its philosophy. We will not let a bureaucrat with a personal agenda steal our pride. Kules, this is a stab to the heart, but it is also a call to resistance. Nico Williams could have been blue and garnet, but the maneuvers of Javier Tebas and the pressure from Athletic Club prevented it. However, Barça does not submit. We are the club of Cruyff, of Messi, of Xavi, of Iniesta. We are the club that always finds a way to overcome against all odds. Today more than ever, we must be united. We must support Laporta, Flick, our players, and show that FC Barcelona is unstoppable. Nico, from where we stand, we tell you, we wanted you, we want you, and who knows? Maybe one day destiny will lead you to Camp Nou. But for now, Kules, let's keep fighting, keep dreaming, keep being the pride of world football. If you are a die-hard Kules, if you think Barça deserves justice and that Tebas should be held accountable, subscribe now to Barça Without Bar. Click the button, join our community, and shout with us. Visca el Barça and Visca Catalunya. Do you think Barça should pursue Tebas for his interference? Will we ever see Nico Williams in blue and garnet? Leave us your opinion in the comments and share this video with all the Kules you know. Visca Barça.